Good night. Yeah, that was kind of ridiculous. I mean, there's tons and tons of aliens and tons of aliens, and then you get to the final room and then it's just bonkers amounts of aliens. It seems borderline impossible, actually, unless I go in with a totally different tactic. Well, I have a couple of hours free this evening. If anyone has any requests... please put them in chat. I might stream something else. But for right now, I'm going to hit the bathroom. Quasi, I don't think being warned about that would have actually done anything. I think I figured out pretty quickly that you need to actually shoot the avatars. But I just didn't have the firepower to do it. I got that because despite having that mind-controlled Guardian doing so much work. Because that thing did a ton of damage before it finally bit it. Okay, well, I'll be back in a second. So this last mission of XCOM 2 kind of reminds me of... hold on. It kind of reminds me of the ending to Pandemic Legacy, which I'm going to discuss now without any spoilers, by the way, so don't tune me out. Uh, the ending of Pandemic, basically the short description of our Pandemic Legacy campaign was we played through it. We played through 11 months. We have a few lumps. We actually do, we do okay. We win a fair amount. We won at least one game in every month. And despite we took a lot of losses. And we took a lot of losses in XCOM too. Don't get me wrong. We took a ton of losses. I probably should have taken a peek at the memorial wall. But there were about at least 15 names on that, including some really experienced people that I didn't want to lose. And so in Pandemic Legacy we got to December, and it was just impossibly difficult, stupendously difficult. It was like totally got our asses beat, hopeless. Didn't even come close either of the two attempts we took on it, and it kind of spoiled the game a little bit. It was great fun for 11 months, but then December was so bad, it really left me with a bad taste in my mouth. And I'm sorry to say it, but I think that final mission kind of leaves me with that same bad taste in my mouth. That was just an unprecedented level of difficulty. It was far, far more difficult than anything that happened in the entire game up to that point. And the only reason it was even close is because of some last-minute Order of the Universe level heroism by Dake to just absorb 4 Overwatch shots and get the pistol critical hit there at the end. I guess it's an interesting ending to the narrative, if nothing else. At least in XCOM, it's not at all in Legacy, but at least in this game, it's a sort of an interesting storyline ending. We get all the way to the end, and we just totally collapse. Everything goes to shit, and one by one, everyone just gets their brains blasted out of them, including me, ironically enough. And so that's how it ends. The aliens continue to exterminate humanity. They had already taken over the world because we, quote-unquote, lost the first game. They exterminate humanity. The ethereals continue being the gods of the universe, and that's what happens. So, but I don't know. I don't think it spoiled the entire campaign. The first 35 episodes were all very riveting, I feel. And so was that one for most of it. Everything up until the last 10 minutes or so was also riveting, I thought. I don't know, chat. What are your thoughts on how this season concluded? Yeah, somebody else doesn't think Pandemic Legacy ends well. Yeah, it kind of didn't. Just even without the difficulty hurdle, I thought the ending was kind of a letdown. But I'm not going to discuss it any more detail than that here because I promise no spoilers. There's a lot of people that actually on Board Game Geek that said that it was actually anticlimactically easy, the ending. And that just blew my mind. It's like, that was not easy. How was that easy? It seems obvious that the difficulty of December is heavily dependent on certain things that happen in the months leading up to that, especially the October-November time frame. And it's not clear until you actually get to December how that actually affects things. We have a question that about whether they would spawn. I'm guessing they would spawn forever, because we were at that for about 6 or 7 turns, and they were still putting more aliens in 6 or 7 turns later. They were quite literally coming out faster than I could kill them, and I didn't have enough explosives to deal with that kind of massed enemy. Yeah, it seems absolutely impossible to actually kill all the aliens that come through those gates. If for no other reason than there just isn't enough firepower to do it, even if you hit all the time. I mean, you can use abilities, but they're going to go on cooldown. You can use grenades, but they're going to run out. Even just regular shooting, you're eventually going to run out of ammo and you have to reload. What may have doomed you was sending the gatekeeper so far ahead. Yeah, well, I don't see how that would have made a great deal of difference. Because if I don't send a gatekeeper ahead, I have to send one of my guys ahead, and that guy gets shot to bits. Although, well, I think I see what you're getting at. Because I sent it so far ahead, they started spawning earlier than they should have. I started the event sort of, and so more aliens are pouring in, and my guys are just nowhere near there. Because I figured, we'll just send this in, and because clearly the tactic I had been using up to that point, we'll just throw the mind-controlled aliens at them, get their attention, shoot them up a little bit, and then they'll come back towards you. Just completely wasn't going to work at all. And I don't see how I could know that that's not just going to absolutely fail without having seen it beforehand. So yeah, at some point when I'm bored and I want to come back and get an XCOM fix, I'll probably do the final mission again with the benefit of foresight and see if things go any differently. I'm kind of curious to try that. Somebody actually won. It seems unwinnable. It seemed unwinnable with the tactic I used. But Yeah, if it's probably not nearly so unwinnable if I don't do that. Maybe if you go in with at least with some idea of what's going to happen, it won't have such an impossibly hard feel to it. I think if I went into that room with the idea, okay, here's what's going to happen. Aliens are going to come pouring in, and you have to kill these three things, and you have to do it quickly. I think that would have, I think that would have made made it feel a little bit more doable. So maybe at some point in the future we'll see the semi-official last room, second chance. This time with Urza, have some idea of what's going to happen and not be just get totally slapped around by the borderline unfair nature of it, without that foresight. No, I did not assume there would be 38. Yeah, that 27 alien thing I was quoted at the beginning, that was total bullshit. There were a lot more than 20. There were 27 aliens just in that room at the end. That doesn't even count the 20 or so before that. Yeah, because I was using expendables. It's like, okay, there's only going to be. I got to the ended room and I thought it would be more similar to the final room in the first XCOM, which had maybe like 5 or 6 aliens in it. And you only really had to kill the one ethereal at the end, the super ethereal, or the uber ethereal, I think it was called. So probably maybe like halfway through Dark Souls, we'll come back to XCOM and give that another go. I am kind of curious to see the ending as well.